We are going to discuss the figure of speech of poem number 5, that is roadside stand. Here the first line, that is, the little old house was out with a little new shed. Now you can see the two opposite words over here, that is old and new, isn't it? The little old house and a little new shed. So old and new, they are the two opposite words which are used in the same sentence for the poetic effect, and it gives out two different ideas, opposite ideas. So the figure of speech is antithesis. The next is in front at the edge of the road where the traffic sped. The traffic sped. Now sped is the verb form, as you know. Here the inanimate word, that is traffic, is given the human quality of speeding, means moving fast. So the figure of speech used is personification, because personification is a figure of speech in which the inanimate objects are given the human quality. A roadside stand that too pathetically pled. Again here you can see that a roadside stand that too pathetically pled. Pled means to plead for beg. Okay. Here the roadside stand is given the human quality of pleading, of begging. So the figure of speech is personification. Another, that is the words roadside stand. Here the roadside stands that too pathetically pled. Who is pleading? Who is begging? Actually here the poor villagers, as I explained you in the poem, they are standing there for selling the items, and so that they can earn some currency for them, isn't it? So here the roadside, it represents the poor rural people. So the figure of speech used is metonymy. As I told you that metonymy is a figure of speech in which a word which is closely related to it, closely associated with it, is used in the same line. The next one is, it would not be fair to say for a dole of bread. It would not. Here we have used the poet has used the negation, that is the word not, to convey the positive meaning, that it would be unfair to say that they are standing for a dole of bread, means they are standing there for begging. Actually they are not standing there for begging, but they are standing there for selling the things to earn their livelihood, so that they can earn some currency and improve their standard of living. Now the next, that is, but for some of the money, the cash whose flow supports. Here money and cash, they are the words which has the same meaning. So there is an unnecessary use of these words which has the same meaning. So the figure of speech used is tautology. And the next, that is, the flower of cities from sinking and withering faint. We have the two rhyming words, that is sinking and withering. Yes, so when the rhyming words are used in the same line, then the figure of speech is internal rhyme. Now here in the same line we have two words, that is withering and faint. It has the same meaning. The flower of cities from sinking and withering faint. Both the words, that is withering and faint, that means it fades away. It just withering and faint means it just becomes lifeless. So the two words which has the same meaning is being used, so the figure of speech is used as tautology. The next, the polished traffic passed with her mind ahead, or if ever aside a moment, then out of sorts. Now here the adjective polished. How is the traffic? Polished traffic. So here the word polished, that is an adjective. Now who are polished traffic, or the people over here? People, isn't it? So here the adjective, that is polished, is been transferred from people to traffic, which is, this word traffic is closely related with the people. So this adjective police is transferred from people to traffic. So the figure of speech is used is transferred epithet. And again the inanimate traffic, that is given the human quality of being policed. So we can say that the figure of speech is personification. The next is as having the landscape marred with artless paint. Now what is artless? Paint is artless here. Okay, here artless is a adjective which is used near the noun, which describes the noun paint. So artless is an adjective. But artless, who are artless? Paint is artless or the people are artless? People are artless, isn't it? So this adjective artless, it is being transferred from people to paint. That is why the figure of speech is transferred epithet. The next, offered for sale wild berries in wooden pots or crook-necked golden squash with silver warts. Here we have two words, that is quartz and warts, which gives out the rhyming word, the same sound. That is why the figure of speech we can say it is eternal rhyme. Quartz, they are the containers, and warts, silver warts means the white marks. So but they have the same rhyming words, means they have the same sound. So the figure of speech is internal rhyme. Next one, or beauty rest in a beautiful mountain sea. Here the or beauty rest, beauty is given, the inanimate quality of beauty is given the human quality of resting. Beauty cannot rest, a person can rest. So here the beauty is given the human quality of resting. So the figure of speech is personification. The next, the hurt to the scenery wouldn't be my complaint, so much as the trusting sorrow of what is unsaid. The hurt to the scenery wouldn't be my complaint, so much as the trusting sorrow. Now trusting and sorrow, both are the opposite words. They are just used beside each other in the same line to create a new meaning. So the figure of speech is oxymoron. Oxymoron is a figure of speech in which the two opposite words are used just next to each other. And one more we can say here, a figure of speech is used, that is personification, because the inanimate quality, that is an abstract noun, that is sorrow, is given the human quality of being trusting. We always trust the humans, isn't it? So here the inanimate, that is sorrow, is given the human quality of being trusting. So the figure of speech is personification. Next, and ask for some city money to fill in hand to try if it will not make our being expand. And ask for some city money to fill in hand. Now here money, city money means, city here is describing something about the noun money. So city here is an adjective. So we can say that here the adjective city, it is transferred from people to money. So the figure of speech is transferred epithet. Again, and ask for some city money to fill in hand. So fill in hand means only you will not have the filling in the hand. Once we have the money, we become too excited, we to become happy. So here the word hand stands for the people, not only for a part of a body. So here the part of a part is used for a whole. So the figure of speech is senecto. There is also an overstatement that there is city money. City money means the whole money is full of city. The whole city is full of money. That is why the figure of speech is hyperbole. The next, that is the same, in the same line, one more figure of speech we can identify if you read it. And ask for some city money to fill it in hand to try if it will not make. Not is a negation which is used to convey a positive meaning that it would hardly make a difference. So the figure of speech used here is litos. The next, and give us the life of the moving pictures, promise that the party is in power is said to be keeping from us. Here, the figure of speech is metonymy because the word moving pictures promise refers to the filmy stories. And give us the life of the moving pictures. Moving pictures here it refers to the word that is filmy stories. So the figure of speech is metonymy. Thus, line, and give us the life of the moving pictures, promise that the party in power is said to be keeping from us. The another figure of speech used in this line is antithesis because there is an opposite thought that the movies offer hope of a better life and the party in power take it away from the people. The next is, it is in the news that all these pitiful keen are to be bought out and mercifully gathered in to live in villages next to the theatre and the store. Now here the word pitiful keen. Keen means relatives, people. Okay. Here the word pitiful keen, it represents the poor village people. So the figure of speech is metonymy. Next, where they won't have to think for themselves anymore. Where they won't. Won't is a negative word which shows the negation, but it is used to convey a positive meaning. And the positive meaning is that the village people will refrain from having to think about their lives anymore. So the figure of speech is litotes. The next one is, while greedy good doers, beneficent beasts of prey swarm over their lives and forcing benefits. Here we have the two opposite words. One is greedy good doers and another is the next to it, that is beneficent beast of prey. Both these are the opposites, good doers and another is the beast of prey. So both are the opposite words, they are used in the same line. So the figure of speech is oxymoron. And there is also an indirect comparison between the greedy good doers and the beneficent beast of prey. Prey means the victim. And both of them, it shows the point of comparison, that is to swarm, means to, they are greedy good doers also harming and the beast of prey, they are also harmed. So both of them are harmful. Okay, so the point of comparison is that both are harmful. So the figure of speech is, there is indirect comparison. So the figure of speech is metaphor. Next, that is destroy their sleeping at night, the ancient way. Destroy their sleeping at night, the ancient way. The figure of speech is anastrophe because there is an inverse in the construction of the sentence and that is for the poetic effect. Next, sometimes I feel myself I can hardly bear the thought of so much childish longing in vain. Here there is a comparison being made between the desires of the people and the desires of the children. Here the desires of the village people, it's been compared with the longing. Longing means the wishes of the children. And both of point of comparison is that in this line is that they may not be fulfilled. The desires of the village people as well as the wishes of the children may not be fulfilled. The next is the sadness that lurks near the open window there. The sadness that lurks. Now here the inanimate sadness is given the human quality of lurking. Okay, the word that is the inanimate word, that is sadness, is given the human quality of lurking. Lurking means waiting. Okay, in this line the word lurking means waiting. So it's given the human quality of lurking. So the figure of speech is personification. Now again here the word sadness, it represents the people who are sad. So the figure of speech is metonymy because it represents the another word, that is the people who are sad. One word is being closely associated with the another word. So the figure of speech is metonymy. The next, that waits all day in almost open prayer for the squeal of brakes, the sound of a stopping car. Now, whenever in a line any sound is being expressed, denoted, mentioned, then the figure of speech is onomatopoeia. Here the word squeal of brakes, it denotes the sound of the brakes. And the sound of stopping of a car, it suggests the noise which is made by the car. So the figure of speech is onomatopoeia. Next, of all the 1,000 selfish cars that pass, just one to inquire what a farmer's prices are. Here we can see selfish cars. Can cars be selfish? No. This is a human quality. Who are selfish? Humans. Here the inanimate cars are given the human quality of being selfish. So the figure of speech is personification. And there is also an overstatement that 1,000 cars pass and they are selfish. Okay. So there is an overstatement, and you know that whenever there is an overstatement, it is the figure of speech is hyperbole. Now from this we can find out one more figure of speech, that is transferred epithet. Why? Because here the adjective selfish, it is being transferred from people. As I told you that who are selfish? People. Cars are not selfish. So here the adjective selfish, it is being transferred from people to cars. That is why the figure of speech used in this line is transferred epithet. Next, and one did stop, but only to plough up grass, in using the yard to back and turn around. Now here the words plough up grass, it represents raking up of the grass in the yard. So here the figure of speech used is metonymy.